Windy Thursday afternoon at the Big A, but the good news, the inner track dried out. The paddock was in gorgeous shape all day long. You've got the winners of the Cigar Mile, the Remsen, the Demoiselle, commemorating the past winners around the paddock here. Sights and sounds of an afternoon at the Big A. It's the Mig, Richard Migliore, Jason Blewitt alongside. Glad you've tuned in here on MSG Plus, and we are off and running just like that, Mig, on a new Big A week.
Well, nice to be back and actually have a comprehensive week, not dotted with cancellations. And you said it, the Gotham is the unofficial start of spring. Well, we had some spring-like weather starting yesterday, and I think we're out of the woods. I think we're past the worst of this very tough winter.
8 days out from the first day of spring, and I'll tell you, this final weekend in winter goes out with the lion's roar, because we have got a jam-packed headline segment beginning with Constitution, and Mike Welsh of the Daily Racing Form tweeting this just about a half hour ago, that Constitution, who was a top handicap horse over the winter at Gulfstream Park, will not be running in the March 28 Dubai World Cup.
Yeah, I guess, you know, the good news is that it's not a serious injury. They caught it early. And think about how hard it would have been for them if they actually had gone to Dubai and then came up with that injury. At least they didn't get on a plane, they didn't ship them, and hopefully we'll see Constitution later in the year.
Sounds like the best American horses over there, certainly California Chrome in the $10 million Dubai World Cup, and Lee, who was second best in the Don handicap behind Constitution. Best of luck to those horses, and obviously we'll keep all of you up to speed on this show as the big day at Maidan gets closer. Little closer to home, in fact, El Kabir, who over at Belmont Park this morning, sounds like he hit the training track, and he is doing A-OK as he sets his sights on the $1 million TwinSpires.com Wood Memorial.
Yeah, very impressive winner of the Gotham. Kind of changed up his style. Simon Harris, his exercise rider, spoke with him down in the jockey's room earlier, and he said he really came back to the track today, first day back to the track, in good order, a lot of energy, really full of himself, like he didn't even run. And he just jogged once around, but, you know, get out of the stall, stretch his legs a little bit, and generally that's how it goes. They get a few walk days to recover from the race, then they get out and they jog a day or two before they pick up their gallops. But he's been in raging form since last July, really. He's been running steady. He's got 9 starts, so he's got a lot of foundation.
Pop quiz time, and I admittedly would not get this live on the air. Who's the last Gotham winner to come back to take the Wood Memorial? Here's your hint. Six years ago, it was a California horse.
Wow, that's the horse Joe Talamo rode.
Yeah, I want revenge.
I want revenge.
You got
okay,
it.
So.
Guy's the best, man.
No, you gave me a good hint.
Mullins,
good hint.
Son of Stephen got even, but good to have El Kabir pointing to the wood in that huge jam-packed day on Saturday, April 4th. Now, Bob Baffert trains a lot of horses for Ahmed Zayed. He doesn't have El Kabir, but he's got American Pharaoh, and American Pharaoh, the first of 2 Eclipse Award winners, returning to action in Sleepy Hot Springs this coming weekend. It's good to have this horse back. He'll be a big favorite. He's 1-2, in fact, on the morning line in the Rebel.
Yeah, I mean, he's the reigning 2-year-old champion. He's training up a storm at Santa Anita. That one work, 3/4 and 10 and change, out 7/8 and 22 and change. You know Bob's got him ready. He's going to have to make up some ground here. He's only going to have 2 preps heading to the Derby, but he's very talented. And all the horses he ran with in California have come back to flatter him.
6 works in 33 days for American Pharaoh, shipping into Oaklawn Park for a trainer in Bob Baffert, who is 13 for 28 going to Oaklawn over the last 5 years, batting just below 50%.
Yeah, I don't think he goes to Arkansas for the barbecue. He goes to win races.
All right, now, Untappable, she'll be running in the Azari. She'll be a big favorite, much like American Pharaoh on that same Saturday card out at Oaklawn Park. And she'll be reunited with John Velasquez for the now retired Rosina Pradnik. Here's Johnny V and the Mother Goose.
Yeah, and Johnny Velasquez, obviously, he needs no introduction, and she certainly responded well to Johnny here in the Mother Goose. She looks like she lays over that field pretty much, and she should pick up where she left off. As of now, I don't see anybody out there in the older filly mare division, if this filly comes back the way she left last year, who's going to give her much problem.
Well, from all pre-race comments, it sounds like she has grown. She's gotten even bigger, gotten even stronger, more mature, per trainer Steve Asterson. And I like that her return as a 4-year-old runs parallel with pretty much the stars of the handicap division, who for the most part are all 4-year-olds.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you think about, hopefully we're going to see her in a race like the Phipps on Belmont Day, because that was such a great rendition of it last year. We get the champion coming back. It'd be nice to see her there, too.
All right, let's get on to the action here. Thursday afternoon, sun was out. It was warm, mid-40s. Windy, though, off Jamaica Bay. The intertrack was fast. We've got Travis Stone upstairs, and here is the featured 8th race. Good group of older fillies and mares.
From the far outside, Janata with good speed, too. Here's Penny Mine punching through toward the rail. As the field moves up the backstretch, Atlantic Smiles in front and is under a hold. Penny Mine through to the inside, and Miss Zippity Sluda on the outside now. Miss Zippity Sluda advancing up to be second. Penny Mine is back in third. Janata's fourth by 3. Make the Moment and Hot Rendezvous the back 2. Half mile to go, and Atlantic Smile is the leader into the win quarter of 24 and 1/5 seconds. So on to the far turn. Atlantic Smile the leader. Miss Zippity Sluda edging closer in second. Janata's putting in a bid. 3 wide on the far outside. Penny Mine is back fourth toward the rail. Hot Rendezvous on the move as well. Make the Moment is trailing as the field comes to the top of the stretch. Atlantic Smile, plenty of challengers. Janata 3 wide on the outside as the field turns for home. Miss Zippity Sluda between those two. Penny Mine in behind and Hot Rendezvous. Top of the stretch now. Here's Janata on the outside to take a narrow lead by the 8th pole. Fighting on is Miss Zippity Sluda, and Atlantic Smile back down inside. Make the Moment needs to find a seam with a good finish. Hot Rendezvous on the far outside. Atlantic Smile on the outside. Miss Zippity Sluda. Here's Make the Moment to get there in the nick of time. Make the Moment just up. It's tight for second. Atlantic Smile was there. So too Miss
1-2 Atlantic Smile. Green Silks looked like she might just come back and fight everybody off, but it's her uncoupled stablemate, Make the Moment, who split horses and got the money by a whisker.
And Make the Moment had to encounter traffic. She went to angle out. She had to angle back in. She found the seam. She split horses. Nice to see Taylor Rice rewarded with a win with that patient ride.
Indigo Shiner mare, who's been a good claim for trader Charlton Baker, who's done some fine work, and he's gotten along well with Taylor Rice, and she caught up with the MIG after taking the Thursday feature.
Taylor, that was quite a ride. What are you thinking when you have horse, you're full of run, and you have that much traffic to encounter?
Well, unfortunately, I was pretty nervous today. I ran into the same thing last time, and the opportunity for me to get out, I lost it. The split second there, and I mean, I'm just hoping it's going to open. It's got to be patient and wait for that seam, and it opened up today.
Well, it seems to me that that's one of your strengths as a rider, is your patience, and you seemed very cool, even though you're saying you were nervous.
I mean, you got to stay calm and collected, but I mean, it's one of the things you have to have the confidence. It's going to open. I got to keep telling myself, because otherwise I'm not going to go there. And it works out, for the best.
It's your second winner of the day. The first race that you won, you went wire to wire. And this one, you come from behind. What are you most comfortable doing, or you just adapt to the horses you ride?
I think it's the horses. I mean, obviously, me and this mare have a long history together, and I know her pretty well. So coming from the back like that, it's so much fun. But to be able to sit on the front there and just milk it around there, I mean, it's nice. But it all depends on the horse.
Congratulations. Great ride.
Thank you so much.
Big win. Taking down winner's share, $69,000 purse, doing it in the waning days of the inner track. Going forward, what does Taylor Rice need to do when this colony swells up and gets even tougher?
Just continue to work hard. There's no excuse for not working. And if you work hard, good things happen. I think somebody in Taylor's position, when a lot of the riders come back, you have to go to trainers and hit them where the other guys can't be. So if a guy's shipping out of town, running a horse at Delaware Park or Parks or Monmouth or wherever it may be, you've got to make yourself available and say, look, I'd love to go ride this horse for you. Now you'll ship at the horse. At least you get yourself into a guy's rotation. You may not be on their first 2 or 3 lists, but if you win a stake out of town for a guy, you've gotten yourself in a barn.
And a nice 1-2 finish for Charlie Baker, who had 2 winners here on Sunday. He's one of the main reasons we had that pick 6 carryover, and a pick 6 carryover we will check out and talk about when we come back here on Insider. How about the first Saturday in June? Summer starts here. Beautiful Belmont Park, featuring the 147th running of the Belmont Stakes. A 3-day festival, 17 stakes, $10 million on the line. Tickets on sale now at BelmontStakes.com. Hop on over to NYRA.com as well. Grandstand Clubhouse, you can't go wrong. Nothing like Belmont Day, third leg of the Triple Crown over at the Taj Mahal.
Now, and even if we don't have a horse, and hopefully we will, a horse going for that vaunted Triple Crown, what a day of racing. Just stakes galore, grade 1s galore, and all the best. And we might even see Shared Belief here that day, who in my estimation is the best horse in the country right now.
The Metropolitan as of now, you get Bayern, Shared Belief, few of the other 4-year-olds like Honor Code, is shaping up as perhaps the year's best race. Now, granted, we're talking about a race on June 6th, but we're optimistic guys, and I just think that underscores how much that race means and the caliber of handicap horses that are currently training and healthy.
Well, I think that's one of the things that has really helped these big, prestigious races is the kick-up in purses. Now you're making horses have to plan their calendar around. When you have a race worth that much money and that much prestige, you're going to get the best horses.
And they were certainly betting with both fists. The late pick 4 total just kept going up as the seconds flashed off the post-time clock. And we'll see what shook out the opening leg as we continue on as well with the pick 6 carryover. Back to Travis Stone for the call Thursday 6th.
My One Love for that outside post hits the ground running, and just like that is in front, angling over to the inside where Shangaloo is trying to come up on through in second. So those who do 1-2. Jasmine Gem comes out to be third on the outside. Quit Smoking is away fourth by 2. Darn That Trip is away fifth. Next in line, Moonlit Sonnet is back sixth, 7 or 8 lengths off the lead. 7 or 8 more back to regifting. Mapry's Girls at the back of the pack. Out of the fire turn they go. My One Love, first quarter 23 and 4. It's the fire turn a length clear. Jasmine Gem second and getting closer, edging closer with 3 furlongs to go now. A break of 3 lengths back. Quit Smoking has moved up on the outside of Shangaloo. They're third and fourth. Darn That Trip is back in fifth and still about 9 or 10 lengths behind as the field hits the top of the stretch. Jasmine Gem on the outside. A sustained run to take the lead off the turn. My One Love battles on toward the rail in second. A big break back to Quit Smoking back in third. Shangaloo is fourth and Darn That Trip is fifth. Heading into the final furlong, Jasmine Gem has taken over the lead and has opened up now. My One Love is fighting on from second, but is second nonetheless as they come to the wire. It will be Jasmine Gem. 2.5 lengths in the end. My One Love was second in a huge break, maybe 10 or 12. Back to Quit Smoking and Darn That Trip.
Middle legs of this pick 6 turned out to be fairly chalky. In fact, this is the middle leg, the 6th of a pick 3, and we'll see the prices a bit later in the show. Ending in race 7 that paid $18, but what can you say? 7-5, Jasmine Gem was just much the best.
Much the best. Sat outside, got that outside trip, pounced when the time was right. Had insistent and steady urging from Jose Ortiz. It wasn't most visually impressive looking performance, but he got it done.
4-year-old filly by Mineshaft, trained by Linda Rice for the Dufferin Run Farm. Good stuff there. Let's move on to race number 7. Final pick 3 gets underway, and a Grizzle group of $10,000 claimers set to go for the top prize of $20,000.
And they're off. Southern Rocket, Glickman is off sharp too, hop skipping away up the leaders as well, backing out of there now as they move up the backstretch. And it is Glickman to go head-to-head with Southern Rocket. They've sped away by 3. Hop skipping away, giving chase out of third. Velastic is fourth. Moped is now fifth. No More Stripper 6 toward the rail. 3 lengths back-to-back, 40. Don Tito and Kitchen Police trailing at the inside, racing for the fire turn. Glickman's in front, but Southern Rocket is pressing the favorite right along. Quarter solid, 23 seconds flat. Hop skipping away is honing in third toward the rail, 2 lengths to make up with 3 furlongs to go. Then it's a break of 4 back to Moped, who's trying to get going. No More Strippers down inside. Velastic is wide in 6th. From the back of the pack, Don Tito's making progress from 7th. But they're going to have to catch Glickman, who comes off the turn with a 2-length lead. It's Glickman in front. Hop skipping away. Angles outside is a length behind in second with a furlong to go. Don Tito's moved into third. Southern Rocket fights on. No More Strippers toward the inside. Heading for the final 16th. Glickman is driving on a 2-length lead. Hop skipping away outside. Don Tito toward the rail, trying to put in final bids. Glickman's in front. Hop skipping away. Can't get by Glickman. The 3/4 length winner. Hop skipping away was second. Don Tito was third. Velastic got fourth.
In for $10,000. Glickman, a big drop. He was odds on, and he did not disappoint cashing out that pick 3. A Chalk City Blewitt pick 3 of $18.80.
Yeah, nice job by Angel Cruz holding this horse together for David Jacobson. This is a horse, Jason, that has a habit of wanting to drift out through the stretch, and he really did a nice job without fighting him, keeping him going forward, and not allowing him to drift much at the same time. I'm really impressed with what I've seen from Angel Cruz recently.
And David Jacobson, first trainer to hit 30 wins during this long extended inter-track meet. He's your leading trader. He got win number 30 with Glickman, and I'll be curious to see the claims because there were a couple of fire sale drop-downs. Glickman and even Don Tito, who checked in third. 10-year-old, by the way, hop, skip it away, ran second. He picked up his feet and was happy to be out on the inter today. It was good to see.
Well, when you said a grizzled group of veterans, it kind of made me think of myself at the end of my career.
Yeah, well, you look great now. We're glad you're with us here on Insiders. We get back to Travis Stone, who we're happy to have in the booth, and he can fill us in on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 9. It's the Serious 6.
Whitty off the turn with a 3-length lead. Stage Name is full out and is second. Gingy is back in third in a strung out field. Furlong to go. Sharp and Whitty still there by 3. Stage Name is grinding it out, but is not gaining any ground as they head for the final 16th. Sharp and Whitty in front. Stage Name, a final try. Sharp and Whitty's desperate for the wire. Here comes Stage Name. Here's the finish. Too tight to tell, and maybe Sharp and Whitty held on. Stage Name made it tight late. Farther back it was Gingy and trailer. The half in 48 seconds. Flat top of the stretch by leaps and bounds has built a 4-length lead. Brigetta has moved into second. Wise Awake on the outside. Keep busting at the rail. Here's the 8th pole by leaps and bounds. Still with a clear lead. Clear by 5. Brigetta, Keep Bustin', Wise Awake. They're all giving chase as they come to the wire by leaps and bounds. A decisive winner. 4 lengths in the end. Ended up tight for second. Brigetta or Wise Awake, Keep Bustin' fourth. The field, it's the top of the lane. CC's Pride down inside of Star of the Forest, and these two are shoulder to shoulder. Taylor Jagger's third and trying to close, but is still 2 lengths behind with an 1/8 of a mile to go. CC's Pride, narrow lead. Star of the Forest continues to plug away. Taylor Jagger is grinding away too, but is still 2 lengths behind. CC's Pride in front. Star of the Forest coming right back. Star of the Forest coming right back to win it. Right on the wire. CC's Pride was second. Taylor Jagger. El Grillo's been shuffled back as the field hits the top of the stretch. It's Wild Freud in front, and in front with a 2-length lead heading for the final furlong. Boldly gives it up late. GR's Giant on the outside, and H-Man continuing to close. Furlong to go. Wild Freud, H-Man on the far outside. GR's Giant with a good effort between those two. These three to decide it. H-Man in front. GR's Giant fighting to the finish, but H-Man from off the pace. The 3/4 length winner. GR Giant followed by Wyver 6 wide off the turn. Party On is there between horses. A pretty smooth guy on the outside as they head for the final furlong. It's wide open. Here comes Party On, who comes charging on through to take the lead. Devilish Grin on the far outside with a pretty smooth guy and everybody else. But it is Party On who has kicked away to a 3-length lead as they come to the wire. It will be Party On. A 3-length winner. Devilish Grin. A wide trip for second. Pretty smooth guy and Fidelius. Wide off the turn in 6, top of the stretch now, Confederate Bay, a leg-weary leader. Here's Allison Trixie on the outside. Delightful Aaron trying to slice through between those two. 1 furlong to go, and here comes Delightful Aaron right up the rail to take the lead away from Allison Trixie. Mama's Redhead on the outside, finishing okay, but will not catch Delightful Aaron, who finishes full of run. Geared down to win by 5 in the end. Mama's Red Hat got up for second. Allison Trixie was third, and Ooh La La was fourth.
We wrapped up Sunday's edition of Insider right here on MSG Plus with Andy Serling saying, pick 6 carryover Thursday, go to the window, take your single, Delightful Aaron. If she breaks, and she didn't break all that alertly, she won't get beat, and boy, oh boy, she won that race quite fastly.
Yeah, quite well, and I'm very happy because a good friend of mine, Blue Stark Stable, Rick Franco, good to see him get the money, a guy who's been a supporter of racing for 30 years or more.
3 winning favorites in today's Pick 6. Fairly logical card. Now, there were no payouts needed for race number 5, the inside horse, Leatherhead Lurie, who had a little trouble getting out of the gate with the rider.
Well, he didn't have trouble getting out of the gate. He just didn't come out with his rider.
Right, I was going to say, with the jockey.
Yeah. He looks like he's getting ready to act up. You see his back leg shift. Junior probably felt like he was going to, Junior Alvarado, like he was going to flip over or something. He steps off, and that's just when the break comes. It's an unfortunate circumstance. Stewards did the right thing. Obviously a non-starter. But it's such a tough spot for a jockey. When you're on a horse, you're the only one who can feel that tension build, and the horse is going to explode. And if they explode before the doors open, a lot of times they'll come over backwards. And I can speak from experience. It's no fun having a 1,000-pound animal turn upside down with you. So I'm sure he felt a lot of what we couldn't see.
Right.
And now he's trying to protect himself. And unfortunately, timing was poor. The break came at the same time.
But the betting public was protected.
Yep.
Horse was a non-starter, and Leatherhead Lurie was okay. The Outriders, and they're terrific here on the Naira circuit, grabbed Leatherhead Lurie, and he was no worse from the wear. And you can bet him back into $25,000 maiden claimer, I'm sure, a couple of weeks from now. Now, speaking of Junior Alvarado and his exploits at Aqueduct over the last few weeks, let's check out the rider standings with the clear, bright, and sunny Thursday in the books.
Yeah, and not too much change up on top of the leaderboard here. Jose and Irad Ortiz running 1-2. Manny Franco back off suspension. Angel Cruz, again, a young man that's been impressing me. And Junior Alvarado has impressed everybody this winter. Been in the right place, the right time most of the year.
Trader standings, well, David Jacobson hit that 30-win mark today. Wick Lickman, the big drop down in the 7th. We'll see if he was claimed. Linda Rice with the winner as well.
Yeah, again, a lot of high percentages up in the top of the leaderboard. You got to be impressed with David Jacobson, and he wins with all kinds of horses, not just claimers, not just sprinters, not just rooters. He's got some stake horses as well. Obviously, somebody that knows how to win whatever condition.
And we've got David Jacobson atop the owner standings. And the word is, at least as of now, that Salute Those Amigos is going to Dubai for the Golden Shaheen. I think we've had 4 yeses or nos in each direction post Tom Fool.
Well, I actually spoke with David this afternoon, and he told me he's going. And a lot of the reason why he's going is because he heard us talking about it on the show, and he said, you guys said if it was mine, I'd go. So I reconsidered, and as of right now, he's going.
Cut us in for 10% of that $1.2 million. Let's move on to the claims. And we do look at the claims by leaps and bounds, claimed by Jeremiah Engelhardt, a reclaim, in fact, and only one claim out of race number 7.
Yeah, interesting. You would have thought, like you said, there was some drop downs, some horses that look pretty attractive. But I always find it interesting when a trainer takes a horse back. It makes it feel like they know something about the horse or they like him for whatever reason.
And she won today as well, wired the field in the 2nd. A good job off the claim, the John Toscano, and she'll go back to Jeremiah Engelhardt as we take a look at a Friday preview on Insider. Thundering off the quarter pole on this edition of Insider. We'll be back on that main track. The snow, the frozen tundra has finally thawed, and it's just nice. I feel even watching a couple races out on the apron, the Big A is starting to really come alive with the sights and sounds and feels of spring.
Well, and those fake flowers in the paddock are always in bloom. They're the everbloom, so it always looks good. But it's nice to see some dirt and cement, not just snow.
Right, and you've even got on tomorrow's card some horses that have wintered down in Florida coming back to the Big Apple, one of which is trained by Todd Pletcher, who we'll get to in a second in the featured 3rd. But here is Girl About Town, who's also coming back from Gulfstream. New York bred, who might just be a New Yorker at heart.
Yeah, I mean, her form in New York was terrific. Kind of went south a little bit in Florida. Obviously, the competition got a bit deeper, especially in the Sunshine Millions. But this is a filly that's got a pedigree to like the 2 turns, although she's never run around 2 turns yet. And hopefully for our man Michael Hushin and the Bromans, she'll get the job done.
Oh, Mike's doing okay. Thoughts and prayers with him as we go to Todd Pletcher's Dragonberry, who broke her maiden, or was 2nd, in fact, at Saratoga, burned some money upstate, but she is very live in tomorrow's 3rd.
Very live. And, you know, just like Girl About Town, you like horses coming out of the warm weather back to the cooler weather. They always seem to fire big. I know when I was riding, I used to love to ride those horses shipping back from Florida. And I think the path to the winner's circle is certainly through these 2 fillies.
How good did that replay from Saratoga look? Holy smokes. Let's move on to check up from Z-Neck Up as we get. I mean, you want to talk about one extreme to another. Summer place to be to a cold weekday on the inner track, but we love the Big A, we love the inner, and check up from Z-Neck Up 2nd behind Via Strada, who looks like a good one.
Yeah, just 2nd best on the day. Again, I favor the horses coming out of Gulfstream, but this filly's been pretty consistent over the winter here, so you can't discount anything Chad Brown sets out.
Featured 3rd race, $69,000 purse. Fillies and mares, good to have Hushin and Todd with horses from Gulfstream Park. Bit later in the day, we get to the New York breds, and it's a big field, a competitive field. Headline in the 8th by NF's Destiny, who's just a speedster. This is my kind of horse, just brings it every single time.
Yeah, if you're going to beat him, you better bring your running shoes because he's got speed and he's not afraid to use it, and he takes a very confident hike in class. Won very impressively for 20 last time. He's in for 40. That makes you feel like the connections are very, very high on this horse.
We'll have Jeter playing ball on Friday the 13th at the Big A. He's going out for Eddie Barker, and he's been very good, actually, for Eddie B.
He's been very good. He drops out of the Holly U's. This is a bit easier for sure. I'm not crazy about his record on the inner track. 7 starts, only 1 win. And I really look at that. I think there are certain horses that excel on the inner track, whether it's the configuration or just the physical makeup of the dirt itself. So Jeter, he's going to have to show me that the inner track's okay with him.
Talking about the Metropolitan earlier on the show, when I hear Met Mile, I think of my first Met Mile winner as a racing fan. Holy Bull is a 3-year-old back in 1994. We've got a gray by the great Holy Bull, Billy the Bull for the White Hot Gary Gullo.
Yeah, and this is a horse that's probably going to make things difficult on some of the other speeds. He's pretty much one-dimensional. He goes, he's fast, and NF Destiny is going to have to kind of follow him around there and hope he comes back to him. Because I think if he engages him, it could hurt him.
We hit Aqueduct, we hit Saratoga, we hit Belmont with the Friday the 13th preview. We hope you're joining us here at Aqueduct as we start out at 1:20, and the Todd Pletcher Express is in full effect as we send it to Andy and Maggie.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, we've been looking at some 9th races lately. Let's switch it up. Let's look a little bit earlier in the card. We've got a couple split divisions of New York breds going a mile, maidens. I'm interested in the first leg. That's the 4th race, and the number 3, April Color. While a lot of people will be looking at a short price Pletcher horse in the other division, this horse won't be that short a price in here, as April Color did not run well in his debut, and that's an understatement. However, that was a track that was very kind to horses running on the inside. It was dominated the race by horses that ran on the inside. We've seen the winner and the second horse both come back and run well. But more importantly, April Color was out in the middle of the racetrack and had a tough trip that day. Draws a post towards the inside. This is not as tough a division as the other one and might be a horse that'll have more speed stretching out. And April Color perhaps could wire this field. And I think you'll get a reasonable price, all things considered. For me, it's all about the 3, April Color in the 4th race. Let's find out what it's all about for Maggie as we head down to the paddock.
Thanks, Andy. Well, for today's Paddock Insider, taking a look at tomorrow's race number 6. It is a maiden special weight for the New York breds, 3-year-olds and upward. And taking a look at 2 second-time starters. Now, one will likely go off as the post-time favorite out of the ever-potent barn of Todd Pletcher's, and that is number 2, Sabonic, a horse whom idled in the stretch, and he just strikes me as one that with this stretch out in distance, he'll be a little bit more comfortable. Hopefully he'll be forwardly placed and just get in that rhythm in which he lacked in his debut. The other horse I like is going to be a bigger price, and that is from another guy who's having a pretty good Aqueduct, and that's Gary Gullo. He sends out number 6, My Bobby, a horse who's just big and gangly and is screaming out for more ground, and he's going to get it here. He also gets the addition of Lasix. So it's going to be a Pletcher Gullo exacta for today's Paddock Insider. Guys, back to you.
That was not Maggie in the paddock. That was Maggie in her office downstairs on the basement level that she shares, the little alcove right outside the office that Eric Donovan and myself share. But anyway, looking ahead to the Friday plays, both of them, well, they're in good company with trader Todd Pletcher. And both April Color and Sabonic are stretching out off debuts on the inner track.
Well, and I like the horses on the stretch out. They have the 1 start, so they have a little foundation fitness-wise, but also mentally, kind of the light goes on. They should put themselves in the game coming out of sprints, and I think they both look like they're going to be pretty tough.
Well, we've got 2 winners on the show behind the scenes, and you're a winner as well, my friend. Great job with that I Want Revenge trivia question. Very impressed. We thank you for tuning into this Thursday edition of Aqueduct Insider, and we will see you tomorrow night right here at 6 p.m.